Okay, so I think we're now live. So thank you very much for everyone who's early in our live stream this evening. It has been a very interesting year in pageantry, and I think that there's a lot of things that has happened, and I want to make sure that only the most important things during that happened during 2023 are the things that we're going to be discussing in our live stream this evening. And please feel free to comment as well what are the other stuff that you want to discuss in our live stream, because for me I have only around 5 major points that I wanted to discuss, and the rest of the year in review is going to be posted on the community aspect of YouTube, as well as on our Facebook and Instagram. And then later on, I will be compiling all of this in a blog post so that everyone can check on that a little bit later on. Okay, so welcome to the live stream, the first live stream in our, for the year 2024. I think that before we move on with pageantry for this year, I want to give a little bit of a throwback to the year that was in 2023, and get to close, certain chapters of the things that have been plaguing us, things that have been dominating our discussions and our conversations in pageantry, as well as things that we are hoping to be improved on in the coming year as we face the year of the wooden dragon for 2024. Okay, so welcome to the channel. Magkamustahan muna tayo dito. Uh, Mark Gonzalez was here. Sabi niya, good PM and Happy New Year, Sir Jason and ka-scripters. Happy first live stream of 2024. Looking forward to your 2023 recap and a few updates and chichis that have been circulating these past few days. Mark, one of the things that we're going to do is that we're going to split our year-ender into two parts. So for this evening, what we're going to do is we're going to be discussing the things that are that have dominated the conversation in pageantry for 2023. And next week, in our live stream for next week, I will be listing down what are the things that we should be looking forward to. What are the things that we are hopeful that would happen, that would improve in 2024 for pageantry, and what are the things that we can aspire towards for 2024. So this is going to be the month of January. Actually, is going to be the closing of the chapter for 2023 and opening of another book for 2024, because there's a lot of things that I think that we can do to improve our discussions and our conversations when it comes to pageantry this year. And I think that in order for us, not to get the same level of fatigue and the same level of, what do you call this, of annoyance on a certain point with regards to what's happening in pageantry, we need to make some changes and differences in the way that we do our coverage for 2024. And I will be discussing all of those plans in our live stream next week. While for this week, ang pag-uusapan natin, lahat ng mga nangyari, lahat ng mga pangyayari that shaped pageantry in the last year. Okay? Ping is here, sabi niya, magandang gabi sa lahat. Peter John Toyorada says, I am excited for what's in store for Binibining Pilipinas 60th edition. Any update po, Sir Jason? Peter, may mga chismis akong naririnig that they're aiming for for this year that for Binibining Pilipinas magkaroon ng 60 candidates. So again, chismis lang to, hindi pa tayo nakakarinig ng anything na concrete on this front. So I don't want to preempt it, but that's what I've been hearing. That the plan is to have like 60, 60 candidates this year. And I've also heard that Miss Globe has already jump ship to another national beauty pageant. So yun, we might be seeing one title in Binibining Pilipinas this year. And if that's the case, then mas malaki yung chances and possibility that the rumors that is circulating that there is a possibility of the main winner winning 1 million pesos might be very high. Okay? So, ayan, nag-splok na tayo ng mga chismis na hindi po confirm at this point in time. So, let's just wait for further, further announcements and updates on that. Okay? Travel Junkies here! Happy New Year, everybody! Sabi niya, nakakapagod na pageantry last year. I'm hoping, Travel Junkie, that for 2024, hindi ganun kabigat. It's not that heavy, yung pageant season. I think that we should be facing 2024 with more optimism. And focus on the good things that has happened and that is happening instead of the negativity. I do, however, still believe that there's going to be a lot of issues in pageantry in 2024 because maraming mga problema in 2023 na pasan-pasan natin hanggang 2024. And I still think that that is for certain, organizations, certain people in pageantry, dala-dala nila yon until 2024. And I think that the best that we can do is, to manage how we react to these developments and to these issues and problems. J.R. Paul says, Miss Universe, very problematic ang owner. Nalusaw ang freshness ni Nicaragua. She's not eloquent, puro pa cute. They should have crowned Puerto Rico kung Latina gusto nila, at least well-rounded. I don't kind of agree with that because based on performance, I think that Shanice outperformed Puerto Rico, especially when Puerto Rico, showed the nerves during the top 5 question. I think Shanice really gave, very spot on answers during the 2 rounds of the Q&A. So perhaps the only reason why we think that she's not eloquent is because she's not, very conversant in English. However, if you're looking at her recent interview with Fox Morning something, I think that Shanice has vastly improved in terms of her English communication skills. And right now, if Telemundo is the media organization that is keeping the Miss Universe afloat across the Latin American markets as well as the US markets, I think it is just right that they gave the crown to a Latina, and the best Latina who performed during the Miss Universe finals in El Salvador is definitely Shanice. So we gotta give that to her. Okay? So before we continue pala, I would like to ask everyone to please join in our polls for this evening. Doon sa poll natin, on the upper part of the chat box, tinatanong ko sa inyo ngayon kung if you're going to describe 2023 in pageantry, what word or words would it be? So we have 3 options here. We have the first option is if you think that the Miss Universe, if you think that pageantry was very exciting in 2023, then please do so. There's also an option there if you feel like pageantry was exhausting in 2023. That's the second option. And if you think that things are pretty much just the same, based on your experience from the past several years, then there's the same old option in the poll. So please make sure to join in the poll, and don't forget to give a thumbs up in our live stream so that everyone can see this later on after the live stream has finished. Okay? Okay, let's continue doon sa comment ni Jerbol. Kasi sabi niya, for Miss Earth, nakabawi. Pero ang translator, bakit palaging issue? Miss Earth needs the Vietnamese clout para umingay. Gandara ng winner. About Miss Grand, dapat i-cancel na talaga ng mga Pinoy ito, pero mukhang imposible. Parang abusive relationship ang Pinas at Nawat na hindi makalet go ang bawat isa. Okay, I think mamaya pag-usapan natin yung Miss Earth because there are a lot of good things that happen for Miss Earth. There's a lot of things that also needs to be improved on in terms of how the pageant is delivered, how the pageant is, is set up. I think that in terms of improvement, I think among all the among all the international pageants, Miss Earth was the one that has, improved leaps and bounds across, different, areas of pageantry. Renee Villarta, sabi niya, good PM from at Jazz Beauties. Hello, Renee Villarta. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the discussion with regards to our, year in pageantry. Because on my end, if I'm going to summarize the year in pageantry, I would think that it would be interesting. Ang daming nangyari. There's a lot of things that happened that was both exciting and at the same time, there were a lot of developments that made us feel like, oh my God, we're kind of worried. So I think 2023 as a whole was a mixture, a bag of mixed nuts, kumbaga, in terms of what happened, what are the things that developed over the past 12 months. And I think that this is the time where pwede tayong umupo, pag-usapan natin ang nangyari, and learn what are the things that we can take on from the 2023 na mga lessons and, bring that to 2024. So, before we do that, however, unahin na muna natin itong mga kamustahan natin in our chat box. Kasi I think that because hindi ako nakapag-live stream during the finals of Miss Earth, there's a lot of things na medyo na medyo na naipon that I wanted to say about Miss Earth. And I think thankfully I was able to list all of them from the front runners, from the results, to the stage design and production. I think marami tayong pwedeng i-unpack on that end. Okay? Oriental Josa Sahara is also here. Sabi niya, Happy New Year, Jason. I hope we can see newbie candidates sa mga beauty pageants. Hope we can hone some organic talents and beauty. I also hope for that as well, that makahanap tayo ng mga candidates na hinog, that are ripe for international competitions, that hindi natin kinakailangan pahinugin pa. I think there's a lot of girls that have vastly great potential but are not yet in the level that we want them to be for international representations. And I think siguro this year, it needs to be said that we really need to hone young talents because there's a lot of opportunities that we can grow from in this year's competition, because I think we're starting to pick up momentum in terms of our representation on the international level. I think that there's a lot of growth area for international competitions this year, especially with the year that we had in 2023. Okay, and we will be talking about that a little bit later on. Okay, Jerbol says, Miss International, sabi niya, Nicole should have won pero baka hindi naintindihan ng mga Hapon yung sagot. Miss Supra, very slimy ang galawan, very warm tail from LOTR. Mukhang susulitin ang mga Miss Earth partners. I don't really like MS, very very underhanded ang mga kilos. At least MGI, walang plastikan, kung ayaw, ayaw. Okay? Going popcorn, sir. Sorry. Going sorry. Nauutal kasi it feels like this is something new once again. Okay. Going popcorn says, "Hello, sir. Present, and we'll just share insight a lot in NE as I followed this heavily since 2001. And a few shares about Miss Universe. Happy 2024 to all of us." Okay? Baka mag 2 hours po ito sa naipon na discussion sa mundo ng pageantry. I hope not. Kasi I made sure na I am only tackling yung pinaka-pressing, pinaka-importante na issues and topics with regards to pageantry this year, because I don't want this na umabot tayo ng 3 oras. Siguro 1.5 hours will be more than enough. I cannot promise na hindi siya magto 2 hours, but I will do my best na hindi ko kainin yung buong oras ninyo sa live stream na ito. Okay? So, going popcorn, keeping our fingers crossed na ito tayo umabot sa 2-hour na thresholds. Okay. So, let's start first with the national pageants. Kasi, if we're going to look back in 2023, the best national pageants are actually the pageants that gave us entertainment value, that gave us engagement, and that gave us, a sense of everything is right, everything is perfect in pageantry. And I think if there was one national pageant that encapsulates all that has been, entertaining, fun, and a set of very deserving winners, that would be the Miss Universe Thailand pageant that was held sometime around the mid of the year. And I think that what Miss Universe Philippines na pageant failed to do so during May was the things that Miss Universe Thailand accomplished for us around, I think that was around August of this year. And in terms of pageant production, in terms of stage design, in terms of newness of crowns, in terms of the glossiness and glamour that we are looking for in pageantry, Miss Universe Thailand delivered in really very almost precise manner ng kung anong hinahanap natin when it comes to pageantry. Much more so that if I compare it with Miss Universe this year, I think Miss Universe Thailand did much gorgeous gowns. We had a slew of heavy hitters, underdogs, and mga silent killers that suddenly became really strong competitors as the preliminaries and finals came on in Thailand. And I think that if there was a country that is on the rise this year, that would be Thailand. I think with them winning first runner-up in Miss Universe, they actually won like three, or was it three? I think they won three several minor international titles. Let me just check my notes. Wait a minute. It's here. They actually won Miss Tourism International, Miss Planet International, and Miss Aura. And then, when TPN got the Miss Intercontinental franchise for Thailand, they also won that. Then, aside from that, they also finished top 8 in Miss International and a Miss Earth Fire in Vietnam, courtesy of Cora Bliot. I think what I'm trying to say is that when it comes to the momentum going on, I think Thailand has started to, to find its stride. I think that they might have gotten slow in building that momentum after some stagnation sometime around the years of 2020, 21, and 22. But 2023 really proved to be a great year for Thailand. Much more so that I think that in the coming years, in maybe 2 to 3 years, we might be seeing them with a very heavy or an alpha title in the next 2 to 3 years. I think that Thailand is ripe for an international title in Miss World, Miss Universe, Miss International, and Miss Earth. So one of these days, we might be seeing them winning those titles once again. Now, in terms of the production values, I think Miss Universe Thailand outstripped every other international and national pageant. And the reason for that, it's because we were all glued on during the preliminaries of the Miss Universe Thailand competition. In fact, if I am going to compare, the glossiness and the production number of the pageant on the preliminaries versus the Miss Universe Thailand finals, I would say that mas entertaining pa ng bahagya yung preliminary competition nila, especially with the candidates really doing a lot of choreography in the preliminary competition. Mas maganda yung swimsuit design in my opinion. They're dancing with the body something na song was really very entertaining, especially nung sabay-sabay silang lumabas at sumayaw in their swimsuits. I think the preliminaries was more entertaining, at least for me, as compared to the finals. And during the finals, although it is easily predictable na yung top 3 nila would be Jazzy Tutor, Vina Pravinar, and Antonia Porcil. We were all, at the edge of our seats because we were thinking na any one of those 3 girls, if they win the Miss Universe Thailand title, would be a great threat at Miss Universe, which ultimately they crowned Antonia and was a threat at Miss Universe by being the highest place na Asian in El Salvador. So I think in terms of the winnings for 2024, I think Thailand is going to be someone or a country that's going to be very, how to say this, very much a threat when it comes to titles. Because ngayon pa lang, unti-unti na nilang nakukuha yung timpla. Imagine Chatnalin, who was I think third runner-up during the MUT na competition, was elevated to first runner-up and was sent to compete for Miss Intercontinental. And she won the title, landslide. I think doon mo makikita that Thailand is starting to find its groove when it comes to international competitions. And I think kinakailangan natin silang bantayan in the next several years because just like I believe the Philippines had its golden era in the years na 2013 up until 2018, paparating na doon ang Thailand. In terms naman of the best na national pageant here in the Philippines, I think that title hands down still belongs to Binibining Pilipinas. I think that overall in terms of the candidates, in terms of the production value, in terms of the prestige, in terms of the pre-pageant activities, in terms of the the stage design of the finals, the entertainment factor of the finals, Binibining Pilipinas really gave us, the kind of pageant finals that we were hoping to see at Miss Universe Philippines. With Binibining Pilipinas, hindi madilim ang stage, hindi mausok, maayos yung pacing ng program, walang nagkamali sa announcement ng semi-finalists, it didn't have to happen that there was a top 18 and then narrowed to a top 10, then back to a top 18, which gets confusing. They also selected a very heavy set of judges who are not only leaders in their fields but are, essentially some of the biggest names in politics, in business, and in showbiz. So, in terms of yung level of stage design, hindi rin pahuhuli ang Binibining Pilipinas with very really huge, I think it was a 8 feet na LED na mga stage at the background where habang nagrarampa yung mga candidates, their videos are being flashed. So I think in terms of production value, there was something with Binibining Pilipinas this year that not even Miss Universe Philippines or any other local local pageant could lick or aim to achieve too. I think in terms of production value, Miss Grand Philippines was second to it. But in terms of the overall pageant in itself, I think Binibining Pilipinas had the best in terms of uh, the level of competitiveness, in terms of the level of production, in terms of the very heavy na judging panel, in terms of the venue itself, how it was decorated, of how it was designed, in terms of the what do you call this, in terms of the engagement, the fan base engagement itself. I think Binibining Pilipinas is the most prestigious national title here in the Philippines. Now overall, I think that in terms of in terms of yung yung Miss Universe Philippines na pageant in their finals, they need to catch up in terms of yung production and transparency, because there were some allegations that some judges were put in place because they needed someone to win. Kaya may mga connections involved na affiliations rather to a certain candidate allegedly. So hindi magandang tignan yung mga botas, yung mga criticisms na yon for Miss Universe Philippines, because it makes their already very shaky na judging panel look a little bit more biased towards certain candidates. I think that the top 18, top 10, and then back to a top 18 na fiasco for Miss Universe Philippines was even more exacerbated by really terrible na audio, really bad selection of songs for their finals, as well as yung madilim na stage. This is again, I think, something that they can downsize in terms of venue, because the Mall of Asia Arena is a cavernous space that if you don't put a lot of lights on it, hindi magbumukhang maliwanag yung stage. Unlike a smaller venue like the Araneta Coliseum, kung saan mas manageable yung lighting because it is of a smaller stage. So I think that that is something that the organizers can think of in order for them to improve MUPH for 2024. Okay, now in terms naman doon sa mga national pageants over the world, as I mentioned earlier, I think the most glamorous and in the most high level, the best pageant is MUP. And I think following that would be the Miss France, which is a distant second, and Miss Venezuela, which is even a distant third. And the reason why I put Miss Venezuela in the list is because I think Venezuela is able to capitalize on the strength of their candidates this year, as well as a decent na production as compared to other national na mga pageants. In fact, I think even Miss USA, yung finals ng Miss USA this year wasn't as up to par to let's say the Miss USA in around 2020, 2014 or 2013 or even 2015. So kumbaga parang there are expectations on Miss USA that they didn't meet in terms of the level of quality, in terms of production, and the level of entertainment that we hope, someday soon they were able to bring back into the pageant. Okay, let's read some comments here. Okay, Jerbol says, Best in Darkness, The Miss Philippines. MUT always is consistent in giving a spectacular show. Bakit ba hindi ito magawa sa Philippines? Parang mga nag-OOJT ang staff sa MUPH. Sabi din ni Jerbol, I don't want Thailand to win ME kasi parang ginawa lang stepping stone ng mga Thai winners ang mga pageant for Miss Universe. And there's nothing wrong with that for me, Jerbol. Kasi, ultimately, other pageant systems benefit from other girls who have experience in other pageant systems. Much like how, let's say, Supranational gave way to Antonia, being more fluid, being a better version of herself in Miss Universe than when she won, back in 2019. The same thing that yung mga crossover girls natin are able to give a much better performance in their finals competitions at the national levels, simply because they already had some experience with other pageant systems. This is also the reason why si Angelica Lopez is a welcome winner at Binibining Pilipinas, because she already built on the experience and the learnings from her Miss Universe Philippines stint several years back. I think ultimately, people, when they move from one pageant to another, they learn, they get experience, they get the understanding of, okay, this is how a pageant is being done at this level. So these are the things that I can learn, that I can bring on, that I can build upon on in terms of my pageant campaign in other national pageants later on. So I think, there are things that we can learn from the experience that helps us be better for the next competition that we're joining in. And I think that's the same thing for these girls na nagko-crossover. And if it weren't for crossovers, then we wouldn't have, let's say, girls like Catriona Gray, who won Miss Universe, like Andrea Mesa, who was first runner-up at Miss World and then won Miss Universe. So these are things that I think should be something that we should be open about. Continuing with Jerbo, sabi niya, agree with Binibining Pilipinas as the best national pageant with the best show, pero sa quality ng candidates, mas NUPH. Again, that is also the reason why mas marami ka nakikitang better candidates at MUPH, because they already gotten more experience on other national na mga pageants, like Samantha Panlilio, who was ang Binibining Pilipinas winner in 2021. And then you also have Pauline Amelinks na nagmutya na ng Pilipinas. So these girls, because they already have, and of course, Michelle D na from Miss World Philippines tumawid ng Miss Universe Philippines. So because they already have those pageant experience, they were able to gather, followers. They were able to gather mga pageant pages na sumusuporta na sa kanila because kilala na sila. So I think this is the reason why crossovers are very much still a strong factor in the overall na review natin ng mga candidates. Papa Turon says, Binibining Pilipinas still holds the prestige but lacking the media reach and engagement. Need to have more excitement. Sana may surprise sa 60th. I don't think so naman na kulang sila sa media reach and engagement. It's just that if you look at your social media feeds nowadays, what you engage on are the accounts that would show up in your social media. So if you are not someone who engages on a regular basis with the Binibining Pilipinas page, then the algorithm of Facebook or Instagram would not show you the Binibining Pilipinas page. So it depends on which one are you consuming, which content are you consuming. So yun lang yun. If you do not engage with pages that would give you a lot of Binibining Pilipinas content, and you engage with pages that would give you only Miss Universe Philippines content, then the algorithm would show you more of what you consume. Okay? Um, okay. So, let's go back naman doon sa ating discussion for this evening with regards to the international competition. Um, Let me just put on some highlights on each of the international competitions that really mattered this year. Okay? So, unahin na muna natin yung male pageants. I think that overall, male pageants this year have leveled up. I think that in terms of yung quantity, in terms of candidates pool, in terms of yung pool nila sa audience, nakita natin na medyo lumaki ang male pageants this year. However, it does not mean that male pageants still do not have the same problems that they have in the previous years, that hindi pa nila nare-resolve yung mga problemang yon until now. Because up until this point, we still see that there are complaints with regards to male pageants na medyo niluto, may mga candidates na tinanggal sa roster ng makakapasok into the higher level of the competition because there are rumors that there are preferred candidates, ganyan. So these are things that are still, being heard in the realm of male pageantry. And I think that this is not a problem that's gonna go away in the next several years, but it needs to be a gradual, phasing out of bad habits that the male pageants have kind of, and kumbaga parang it became muscle memory na. So I think if the organizations behind the male pageants would promise themselves, would take an oath of transparency, of honesty, fairness, to their candidates, to their national directors, to the way that they set up their pageants, then hindi malayo na mag-improve ang male pageants all over the world. However, because there is still what they consider as like male pageant mafia going on, na nag-aareglo ng mga resulta in favor of hosting rights, in favor of bilang kapalit, I think hindi malilinis ng husto ang male pageants. It's very difficult to clean the reputation of male pageants if these things still continue. There are still a lot of pageants that needs to endeavor themselves to bettering the integrity aspect of male pageants. I think that in terms of the male pageants this past 2023, I think Mr. International and Mr. Supranational are the competitions that really mattered. These are the competitions na sumabaybay ang mga pageant fans. Fans really supported these competitions. And I think that moving forward, if male competitions at the national and the international level are able to, embody fairness, integrity, equality in terms of the way that they set out and put up their pageants, then wala magiging problema in the future in terms of the integrity of the male pageantry as a whole. However, because there's still some issues between the Thailand-based and the Philippine-based Mr. International, it is only when the international competitions themselves are able to, embody something much bigger than their finals nights, and prove, the relevancy of the male pageant in this, social climate. That's the only time that either the Thai-based na Mr. International or the Philippine-based Mr. International would be deemed as the rightful Mr. International as a whole. So, what do I think is the future of the male pageant in 2024? I think that there's still a lot of gray areas that needs to be cleansed, that needs to be cleaned. There still needs a lot of improvement in terms of integrity. I think that is the pinaka foundational na area that they need to work on too. But I do hope that they can do something about that. Because ultimately, kung walang integridad, if you don't have integrity in into your competition, then everything falls apart. Okay? Now, in terms of female pageantry this year, I think it was a mixed bag of positive, negative, frustrating, happy, and everything in between in terms of the entire pageant this year. So uunahin natin yung mga ano yung mga highlights ng taon ngayon. Okay, unahin na muna natin si Miss Grand International. We all know that this pageant is problematic from the get-go. So nagtataka, so why are we still surprised? At nagtataka pa rin tayo na ang daming issue in terms of the representation, the owner, the production, and etc. I mean, if they weren't very smart and empathetic na palakarin yung mga candidates on a wet floor for the swimsuit presentation or swimsuit show of the pageant, or they didn't even thought of moving the event indoors, then what are we expecting from them? It doesn't make sense that there's still, people who would give time to say something about the pageant when we all know that ultimately the pageant itself exists for entertainment purposes only. So I think that with all the things that happened, from the MJ Lastimosa na banning by the owner, to the egg tart, one and only egg tart na situation, to the what do you call this, the banning allegedly of the Philippines to join Miss Grand International. I think these are things that are no longer something that's worth discussing, because there's nothing else that we can do to make the situation any better. I think this love-hate relationship really has to stop, and we just move on. I mean, the toxicity that we experience with MGI is not something that is healthy for the pageant community, and I think it is just best for us to just move on and I don't know, focus perhaps our energies elsewhere. I think this is something na ang hirap na sabihin ng paulit-ulit dahil hindi tayo nakikinig. Kapag nandyan na naman ang pageant, susuporta na naman tayo doon sa mga representative natin. Bibigyan na naman natin ng space sa buhay-buhay natin yung pageant. So, siguro naman sa dinami-dami na namang instances na nagago tayo, ginago tayo, at ginagago pa rin tayo at up until this point, siguro naman there's a point that magsasawa na rin tayo, that we start to feel and think that this is probably not even worth any energy at all. Okay? So, it's really, it's really very sad that we still continue having to give space for this pageant. Okay? Now, let's now go into the pageants that really matter. Okay, so let's start first with the Miss International pageant, because there were, I think it's safe to say that the Miss International pageant is still arguably, the most fair, the pageant with the highest integrity, the pageant with the highest level of, of uh, of honesty in terms of the way that they deliver their pageant. I don't think that there's any other pageant close to the level of integrity of Miss International. Not even Miss Universe is close to that. Kita naman na walang manipulation of results na nangyayari sa Miss International. However, with all the good things that Miss International offers, whether it's the allowing the Miss International girls to be involved with the United Nations uh, SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, um, I think that there are still areas that the Miss International needs to deliver upon. Okay, so let's start with the finals. There are changes in the Miss International in terms of their finals. They no longer do the swimsuit competition on their live finals, and the evaluation for the swimsuit competition is done elsewhere in a more private setting, which is good because it shows that Miss International is slowly, embracing changes. However, the changes have been in a very glacial pace, na ang bagal ng improvement, ang bagal ng pagbabago sa Miss International. However, I still do commend them though for being, for being honest and true to their core value, being true to their traditions, being true to their personality, and to who they are as a pageant. So I think ultimately, if you are being true to who you are as a pageant, that negates a lot of other areas that's problematic. However, it doesn't mean that you just continue ignoring the signs or the things that you need to improve on. Like, for example, the diversity issue at Miss International. This year, we've had, a lot of declarations, announcements that the Miss International does not look upon skin or the color of your skin. That is, that there's no Miss International prototype or there's no Miss International mold. However, judging by the results of the Miss International this year, you can clearly see that there is a Miss International prototype. So, alam mo yun, parang naglokohan lang tayo this year. Na you keep on proclaiming these things and then do the other. Do the opposite. I think that's the thing that Miss International needs to start looking at. They need to really do something about the perception that they are not a very racially diverse company, and therefore the kind of girls that wins Miss International are this same, mold of Caucasian, Eurasian looking girl who are very much the prototype of the pageant. So I think that moving forward, I think the Miss International really needs to address their diversity issue that has been plaguing them for the past several years. We've seen Curacao, dark skin girls making top 5 like Curacao, Cabo Verde in the past several years. But they really need to start making sure that there is diversity and there is representation across, all tawag nito, all races, skin colors in the future, because they cannot keep on saying that there is an international prototype and then go back on their word and crown a Miss International prototype. So this is where, there's a lot of African nations who are not as keen on participating in Miss International because they never had crowned a Black African Miss International, which, in 2011, this was done by Miss Universe in with Angola, Angola's Leila Lopes. She's the first Black African to actually win Miss Universe in the pageant. So if moving forward, we would see, Africans winning Miss International, then that is the only proof that we will believe in, that there is now diversity in Miss International. So I think this is something that they really need to adjust, to change on the judging panel na level. I think ultimately, if they select a diverse set of judges, then that will ultimately reflect in the semifinalists and ultimately the winners that they will select. So if you are always having Japanese judges in the judging table, then of course the girl who is going to win Miss International would cater to the Japanese aesthetic. So that is something that needs to be addressed in order to move forward when we talk about diversity at Miss International. Now, let's talk naman about Miss Earth, because I think Miss Earth is the most improved in terms of the alpha pageants this year, because we've seen a lot of glossiness in the pageants. Okay, so let's start first with the glam. I think that is the most noticeable na pagbabago in Miss Earth this year, that the things that we are expecting and hoping and praying for in terms of the glam factor of Miss Earth is finally, addressed. We had headshots, swimsuit portraits. We have evening gown portraits of the girls in various iterations. And I think that was really something that the pageant fans was in waiting for a long, long time. And the good thing about Miss Earth is just like Miss International, these two pageants are actually the two pageants that when it comes to the integrity of choosing a winner, wala kang maipintas. Even when they crowned somebody as unpopular as Karen Ebasco, but if you look and dig deeper at the resumes of the girls, at the way that they competed, the way that they presented themselves during the finals or throughout the competition, you would see, that is the reason why they won Miss Earth. There is also always a reason why when you look at their performance or their resumes or the way that they communicate, those are things that made them winners, and they're not afraid for Miss Earth to crown unpopular winners. And I think that is something that other pageants uh, could really emulate with regards to Miss Earth. Now, in terms of the improvements this year, I really love the fact that they had great set of crowns this year. I mentioned earlier in a post when the Miss Earth have finally posted high definition photos of their crowns by Long Beach Pearl. I really thought that they looked elevated. However, my only criticism with the Miss Earth crowns is the fact that they seem to kind of lost the Miss Earth branding, and lost the personality. They could have done something with the design to, I don't know, to express the Miss Earth brand's personality with the crown designs. However, in terms of aesthetics, I think the Miss Earth crowns look a little bit better as compared to the Miss International crowns by Long Beach Pearl as well. I think that in terms of the colorfulness of the gems, it was something that is really reflective of the multiple gems of the origin of the older na Ramona Har na crowns. So in terms of glam, I think there's nothing to be uh, there's nothing to be criticized in terms of Miss Earth. In terms naman of stage design, I think that is one of the best Miss Earth na stage for a long time. Um, the amalgamation of technology and sustainability in the way that the what do you call this the stage design was created was really marvelous. My only hope in the future is to have the finals in a closed area at hindi open air. Kasi ang mahirap kasi sa open air, kapag humangin na, yung mga girls na nakalugay at kulot-kulot, magmumukhang alam mo yun, buhaghag yung hair nila, for the lack of a better term. So I think maybe in the future, since Vietnam is hosting again 2024, yung hope ko lang is that they can do an open air for the preliminaries, but at least for the finals, sana sa loob ng isang coliseum or ng isang arena, so that the girls can really, glam themselves up for the what do you call this for the finals, because una sa lahat, kapag mahangin, again, bubuhaghag yung mga hair ng mga girls. Pag umulan, paano nangyari nun? Are they gonna postpone the pageant, especially if it's the finals, or rarampa ang mga girls na may daladalang payong? I mean, again, much like the scenario at MGI, kapag umulan, madulas ang stage, paano naman yung safety ng mga girls? So I think that's something that they really need to think on for their next iteration of the pageant in November of this year. Or I think it's between October or November. Okay? And another thing that I wanted to, what do you call this, to give praise upon when it comes to the Miss Earth pageant is yung pre-pageant activities nila. I think that the video challenges is something that is very unique to Miss Earth, and I think that is something that would really make that should be a mainstay of the competition, because this helps us to be more engaged with the Miss Earth in terms of their advocacy projects, in terms of the candidates and their cultures and where they come from. It allows us to understand who the candidates are, and what they stand for, what are the things that makes them, great as possible Miss Earth winners. And tingin ko yung mga involvement ng mga pageant bloggers, ng mga content creators on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram allowed the allowed the pageant to be more seeped into the psyches of the pageant communities online. And I think this is a smart move of Miss Earth. And I think that this is something that they should be continuing moving forward. However, one thing that I needed to discuss with regards to the length of the Miss Earth competition is it is unnecessary to have a month-long competition, because it gets to become, exhausting. Yung ganun kahaba. Kasi ang nangyayari nito is that yung mga vloggers, yung mga fans, pwedeng maumay sa tagal ng competition. So the best thing that they can do is combine yung schedule ng mga online na mga challenges, these online videos, when the candidates are already there in Vietnam. So it makes more sense. Kasi may mga candidates na, paano yan kung hindi dumating sa venue? Nanganganib dumating sa venue. Like for example, Sierra Leone, Zambia were some of the girls that came in late into the competition. Panama was not able to join in the competition. Pero may mga tawag ito, may mga online challenges siya. So I think these are things that they can do in order to maximize the time. I think 3 weeks is the ideal when it comes to the pageant itself. Wag naman 10 days because that is too small to get to know the candidates better. So probably ideally um, around 20 days is more than enough for us to get to know who the girls are in the competition for Miss Earth. Now, let's talk about the finals because I was not a fan of the 5 hour long live stream. And if you're going to break down the finals, there was actually only around 2 hours of the actual Miss Earth competition. Mas marami yung oras na ginugol sa paghihintay, sa mga unnecessary interviews, unnecessary red carpet, unnecessary sponsor, I don't know what you can even call that, exposure for a 5 hour long na live stream where the actual Miss Earth competition was actually only around 2 hours or even less. So I think in terms of the flow of the pageant, the Vietnamese organizers should learn how to manage their time wisely. Because, again, there was a point during the Miss Earth finals that I was just uninterested anymore to watch. And I think that was during the part where they were doing interviews on the red carpet, and that I felt was extremely annoying and unnecessarily at all. Especially, some of the interviews do not help us learn more of the girls, learn more about the pageant, learn more about the ethos or the advocacies that the pageant is promoting. It was more of like those were marshmallow moments. What I mean with marshmallow moments is that they were just all fluff, just sweet to the taste but no nutritional value. So I think ultimately they need to learn how to manage time better because you practically just wasted 3 hours of airtime that didn't lead to anything at all. It did not lead to people wanting, loving, supporting the Miss Earth pageant more. Um, it did not lead to more people supporting the Miss Earth more because that was time wasted. I think a 3 hour or a 2 hour live stream finals would be more than enough in terms of the what do you call this? In terms of the 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 flow of the pageant. Okay, now let's go to Miss Universe. I think this year Miss Universe has its baptism by fire. Um, a lot of things happened at Miss Universe this year. We had two Miss Universe edition, one in January, one in December, and both pageants reeked of heartaches, troubles, but at the same time, it also delivered, two gorgeous winners. So that I cannot complain about. However, I think in terms of interest, in terms of what do you call this, in terms of coverage, Miss Universe is the biggest winner in the competition this year. I think yung ano yung interest and dominance on social media and online is something that the Miss Universe pageant clearly dominated on. And whether it's for the good or it's for the bad things that happened to Miss Universe, it only bolstered their image and their visibility in all platforms. And I think that is the reason why some of you are saying that 2023 was exhausting, because the Miss Universe from January to December, interspersed doon sa mga panahon na yun, in those months, are issues upon issues, victories, as well as heartbreaks, heartaches, in between. So I think yun yung problema with Miss Universe. Um, yes, they were winning ratings for their finals in El Salvador, and in fact, I think there was even a pronouncement by Telemundo that they broke records with Miss Universe in El Salvador this year. So it tells us that, okay, in terms of yung prestige na hinahanap ng mga fans, bumalik na naman siya. The glamour, the longer Miss Universe schedule and timetable is back. And this is also the reason why na both Roku streaming and Telemundo were saying na panalo ang Miss Universe this November. Sorry, not December pala. This November, it was done November 18 here in the Philippines. So ibig sabihin that in terms of yung interest ng mga tao, nandun pa rin sa Miss Universe. It also cemented the fact that Miss Universe is still the most prestigious international pageant. Kasi hodang, we're not much fan of the owners. We're not fan of the changes in the pageant. We're not fans of the earlier results in January, where some fans felt that it should be Amanda Dudamel who should have won Miss Universe, who have been saying that Arbony did not increase her following that much as compared to other previous winners. So it's moot point at this point yung mga arguments na yon. But I do agree that some of the disappointments that fans carried from January has been carried on until December of this year, after the Miss Universe in El Salvador. Alam ko, maraming mga fans, whether it's Latino who are disgruntled with the with the results in January, or Asians, specifically Thailand and the Philippines, who are not happy with the results in the El Salvador na edition of the pageant. So I think Miss Universe really gave us something to talk about throughout the entire year. Kasama na dun yung controversies that surrounded Paula's resignation. After 2 decades with the organization, she resigned, and yung exit niya, not necessarily a very smooth exit, because she really dropped major hints in her speech during the preliminaries with regards to mga insights doon sa paano pinapatakbo ang Miss Universe from the inside of the organization. And I think another thing that was really very disconcerting for fans is yung bankruptcy and financial issues of the parent organization of the Miss Universe pageant, wherein Kun An's name has been dragged for such a long time, ever since she acquired ownership of the pageant, to the point that there are some fans, both local and international fans, have been demeaning the owner, not thinking of the possible consequences in the future. I think that ultimately, hindi lahat ng mga problema ng Miss Universe organization ay kasalanan ni Kun An, because a lot of the decisions on allowing the mothers and allowing pregnant women, divorced women, single mothers to join Miss Universe pageant has been made prior to her acquisition of the Miss Universe organization. The transgender na ruling has been there since the Trump era, but I don't see why fans are um, blaming Kun An for that decision, wherein she was not even the owner of the pageant in 2012 when the transgender ruling was passed. So a lot of this, woke things, woke decisions of the Miss Universe organization is attributed to Kun An, which is actually naman unfair because these are rules, or rather, these are rule changes that was instituted during Paula Schubert's tenure as president. So, may parte siya in those decisions. So, it cannot be that all of these things should be blamed um, on Kun An, but these are things that are equally the responsibility and the, the blame, therefore, is equally shared between those leaders in the organization. And then also, this year's, pageant, especially the one in, what do you call this? The one in El Salvador, showed us a lot of improvements in terms of the glam of the pageant versus things that could have done and planned much better. So let's take into consideration yung refunds that happened with the live stream of the preliminary and national costume show. Nag-crash yung site that was supposed to broadcast the paid preliminary and national costume show. Of course, because things crashed, now fans who were not able to watch the pageant that they paid for demanded a refund. Because instead, the Miss Universe organization, in order to appease, those fans na gusto makapanood, they made the decision to put the preliminary and national costume show on YouTube instead. And it took some time before we were refunded doon sa paid na tawag ito, paid na preliminaries ng pageant. In fact, it took maybe around 3 or 4 weeks before the credit card was refunded doon sa payment ko on the preliminary and national costume show. So it goes to show that, there should have been better planning on this part, especially because the pageant was announced January of 2023 that it will be held in November of the same year in El Salvador. So that should have been more than enough time for them to test yung mga technologies that needed to be tested in order for the pageant to go smooth sailing. But in terms of stage design, in terms of the glam factor of the pageant itself, I think wala tayong masasabi because they really gave us a very interesting show this year. To the point that if you're going to Google search in Google Trends yung interest sa pageant, the only other pageant that has the same level of interest as Miss Universe is actually Miss Earth. Pero they are very far in between. Ang laki ng diferensya between the interest in Miss Earth versus Miss Universe. Like for example, in a scale of 1 to 100, Miss Universe probably is in the 100s scale, while Miss Earth is around the 20s. And then how much more pa kaya if we're going to compare it on, let's say, the Miss Supranational and the Miss International na pageants, which didn't generate as much as interest as Miss Earth on Google Trends. So you can only imagine, that still overall Miss Universe has the lion's share of attention and support from pageant fans. Now, how do we see the Miss Universe pageant play out in 2024 this year? I think that there will still be issues controversies on Miss Universe. Hindi mawawala yun because coming this January, around January 24, 29, magkakaroon ng decision ang Thai courts on the bankruptcy issue, on the uh, debt rehabilitation of the JKN Global na group. So, ibig sabihin nito, uh, masusundan yung mga financial woes and controversies surrounding the Miss Universe organization. What does this mean for us pageant fan? It means that Miss Universe will continue to dominate our social media feeds for the next several months. Whether this is a good thing or a bad thing, that we're still going to find out sooner or later. However, the good thing is that it's national pageant season in the next coming several months. And I think it would be way too early to discuss for now dahil I still have some notes that I need to finish in order for me to be able to discuss what to expect in the next several months for the pageant for the local pageant systems here. So pag-uusapan natin yan definitely, but it's going to be on a live stream that I will be scheduling for next week. What are the things that we are going to look out for in 2024? Kasi for this evening, let's just close the 2023 chapter altogether at this point. Okay? Kasi I think, sorry. I think 2023 overall has been a year that has been very tumultuous, interesting, but tumultuous in terms of the overall scheme of things. And I do hope na yung feeling nating lahat would not be the same feeling that we carry on in 2024. Because as I'm looking now at the results of the poll, 48%, roughly half of everyone here in this live stream is saying that 2023 in pageantry was exhausting. And I kind of empathize with that. Kasi I really thought that there were so many ups and downs in pageantry this year. And a lot of those ups and downs is courtesy of the Miss Universe organization and the Miss Universe pageant. So I think marami tayong hugot when it comes to the Miss Universe pageant in the past year. Okay, same old gathered 35%, while only 16% of you said that pageantry in 2023 was exciting. So, ibig sabihin, medyo mas nakakalamang yung feeling na exhausted sila because of the pageant year that we had. Okay, so before we continue, let's just read some comments muna dito. Okay, Art Laurent, Feliz Año Nuevo, amigo. Gracias. Thank you very much for the greeting. I do hope you have a great year ahead as well, Art, kasi I just read my Chinese horoscope reading for 2024 because I was born in the year of the rooster. It's a good year for those who are born for the year of the rooster in the year of the wooden dragon. So I'm not sure if any one of you is interested with Chinese zodiac and astrology. Pero ang sabi sa readings this year is that 2024, which is the year of the dragon, is a good year for those who are born in the year of the snake, the year of the rooster, and the year of the ox, I think. I think that's it, ox. So, yay. I do hope that it does materialize, for everyone this year, because I think if I am going to look back at 2023 was a mixed bag of ups and downs. But there was a lot of downs, in as much as there are a lot of ups. I think the downs outweighed the highlights in 2023. So I do hope sana 2024 mas magaan, mas masaya for us in pageantry. Okay. Um, let's go to more comments. Okay. Okay, medyo ang daming comments. Wait lang. Na ano ako. Um, oh, ang dami nga. Wait, let me just scroll up. Okay. Nasaan na ba tayo? Going popcorn, sabi niya, hindi ko tinapos yung MEUPH kasi halatang tinipid yung production and stage. Sabi ni Jerbol, agree with downsizing yung venue. Wag masyadong ambisyoso. Travel Junkie says, this year, I am excited sa Binibini because of the 60th anniversary and Miss Earth, which is, I hope, Miss Earth TNA Entertainment learned from the missed opportunities of last year, and Carousel can improve on their social medias. I do hope so because I think the mere fact that they had some issues with their Instagram when it comes to posting na nare-reject ng tawag ito ng IG yung some of their posts, it means that they are not consistent with their social media presence on Instagram. That is why the algorithm of Instagram thinks that this is an imposter posting on their socials. So they need to be more consistent when it comes to posting on social media platforms like Instagram, because consistency is something that the algorithm prefers over one time big time na magpo-post tapos for the rest of the year hindi masyado. Okay? Going popcorn, Sir Jay, ano po yung issue ni Argentina sa MIPH base? Nabasa niyo po ba yung yun bago mag-year end? I think it has something to do with reimbursement of plane tickets. The last thing that I've heard is parang na-reimburse na yung ginastos niya. So I think on that end, parang nagkaayos na silang dalawa. And also, if I'm not mistaken, kasi parang si Argentina nag-extend ng tawag ito ng stay dito sa Pilipinas. I am not sure if ni-release na yung mga photo shoots niya with Mama Lord Mama Lord sa tawag ito sa social media niya. So I am hoping na sana makita ko soon. I have been lilowing on social media kasi for several weeks now. So I still need to catch up on certain updates on pageantry. So, John Snow, 79. Hello, John. Sabi niya, hi, Jason. Magandang gabi. Speaking of crossovers, okay ba na sumali si Bint sa MUT 2024? If she will be allowed by Miss International or to join MUT, mananalo ba kaya siya? Same group of friends ata sila ni Antonia. That's an interesting question because I don't think Bint is would fit the Miss Universe prototype. But then again, I might be wrong. Diba? I do hope that she thinks this through. Kasi I think mas malaki yung chances ni Antonia na manalo sa Miss Universe than Ben for now. If I'm basing it on the the performance of Ben at Miss International. So again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm reading this situation wrong, but I do hope that if she does join, she considers what are the things that she will lose versus what are the things that she would gain. And then if she still feels that she wants to become Miss Universe, then who are we to stop her from achieving her dreams, diba? Nasaan na tayo? Sabi ni Jerbol, MGI is a garbage pageant but marketed well. Miss Earth is a quality pageant. Miss Earth is a quality pageant but marketed poorly. Miss Earth needs to invest in good marketing. I agree. Going Popcorn says, ang dami ding male international pageants na Philippine-based na, and I'm not sure if they're cost and relevant. Okay. And I'm not sure of their costs and relevance anymore. I kinda agree. I think I think you would only feel if a male pageant has, you know, authority, or has, has a certain tawag dito, certain believability, that it is a major pageant if they cross the threshold of 20 or more candidates. The more the better. I think, ideally, siguro, male pageants should have around 30 candidates, in order for them na magmukhang legit, for them to look legitimate. Kasi ang problema sa male pageants na nasa 14, nasa 19, kung minsan nga nasa 9 or 11 lang na candidates, ang hirap niyang seryosohin, because you know that international organization are not paying attention to that, are not giving it, any attention at all. So if hopefully in the future, some of the pageants na siseryosohin natin would have at least 30 na candidates para naman magmukhang um, relevant yung pageant. Okay? Um, uh, Sabi ni Jerbol, Miss Earth was right in judging, in crowning Albania. Bumango ang ME kahit sa mga racist na Latino. Bet si Drita. Okay. Sandali lang, let me just uh, get some drinks muna. Medyo natutuyan na ako ng lalamunan. Okay, balik tayo kay Going Popcorn. Sabi niya, glam up to the nth level talaga ang Miss Earth. Pati mga activities, tourist promotion. Kaso TNA is pinagpracticean yung production ng Miss Earth. Wala silang background sa pageant production. It kinda showed na ganun nga, na hindi yun yung kanilang forte. So I do hope that for 2023, kunin nila yung some of the production people from the Miss Earth here in the Philippines, to guide them. They need that kind of, I don't know, expertise. Because ang Pilipinas, magaling mag-produce ng pageant. If they cannot copy directly from Thailand in terms of, the high level of production quality and flow, then perhaps they can get some people here in the Philippines, that is affiliated with the Miss Earth organization, so that they can put up a better pageant in 2024. Sabi ni Jerbol, Miss Earth should also hire a more seasoned social media manager. Naboljack ng mga Earthlings yung social media manager kasi ang bagal at mali-mali ang post. Okay, going back again to Going Popcorn, sabi niya, I agree, sir. Indoor dapat. Again, indoor ang ME dapat next time. Nung red carpet time, umuulan. Kaya kinakabahan din ako sa success ng outdoor na ME. Buti na lang tumigil by 7 p.m. So probably that is also the reason why yung live stream ng Miss Earth was tinagalan para patilahin yung ulan, so that the candidates would not slip on stage kapag nagpasarela sila on the competition talaga. So I do hope ganun nga. Nainis din ako, Sir Jay, doon sa 100% flow ng pageant production binigay sa TNA. Yung mali-mali, pati blockings at camera angle, mali-mali. Yun na nga, as I said, it would help greatly for Miss Earth in 2024 to learn from the mistakes of Miss Earth in 2023. I think keep ng mga Vietnamese yung glam nung pageant, but they need to get Filipino production people to help manage yung flow of the Miss Earth na pageant. Okay? Sabi ni Travel Junkie, I just learned na mas matindi pa po pala sa time management ang mga Viet kaysa sa atin. I think maybe there are several factors that led to that. I think na baka naman naging kasama doon sa pag-delay or sa pagpahaba ng pageant is yung pag-ulan nung finals sa venue. Although hindi ko masyado siya napansin on the live stream. But if it did rain, pwedeng yun ang isa sa mga dahilan kung bakit dinelay yung pageant proper. Okay, nasaan to? Sabi ni Jerbol, Robbie Domingo is a better host than James Deacon. Kasi James Deacon tends to shout in order for him to be heard. Parang hindi siya kalmado na mag-host. Especially when hosting Miss Earth. Pero I think it has something to do with the audio. So maybe kinakailangan lang ayusin yung audio. And then, continuing, sabi ni Jerbol, and please, sana mag-retire na si Chantel, who asked for Chantel. Anyway, I kind of agree. It has become repetitive and it's now becoming irrelevant yung presence ni Chantel. I don't know kung ano yung kapit ni Chantel with Miss Earth, but Miss Earth needs to move on because Chantel, in terms of her career, she's not on her peak as she was, 15 years back. Medyo kinakailangan ng bumitaw ng Miss Earth kay Chantel because if they're gonna do something about having a international entertainer for Miss Earth, they should capitalize on P-pop artists. They should capitalize on the local artists in Vietnam, or they should capitalize on artists that are within the Asia region, especially if the pageant is held within Asia. Okay, sabi ni Going Popcorn, ano ka ba, Jerbol? 10 years ang contract ni Chantel sa Miss Earth org. Okay? Continuing sa comment ni Going Popcorn, let down and please change the host. Umay na ang banter ni James. Parang pang boxing na pinapanood ko at cringy yung last time niya na take your first walk as reigning champion. Okay, Travel Junkie is asking, what can you say sa statements ni Mama Melanie? Okay, for those who are not aware, Melanie Marquez, the mother of Michelle Marquez D, had an interview with Mama Renee Salud. And in that conversation, they talked about several topics. And one of the things that really jumped out in the conversation is when Renee Salud asked if does she believe that there was rigging in the Miss Universe pageant. And obvious ba yung sagot ni Miss Melanie Marquez? So, that in itself showed that they haven't moved on yet with the results of the pageant. If they have proof of pageant fixing, then they should go to the authorities instead of just relying on hearsay without actual physical evidence that there was fixing in the pageant. And this is something that is, I think, bold for Miss Melanie to say, but at the same time stupid. Because if you are going to allege that there is fixing in a pageant, then you should be backing it up with facts and cold hard evidence, because that can be cause for libel. And that is, that is something that we should really be careful of, because Melanie Marquez has a very illustrious career as a pageant girl. Aside from winning Miss International, she was second place at the Ford Supermodel of the World competition in the 80s. She joined Mrs. World and was like top 20 or top 10 in that competition as well. So sayang lang yung naipundar niyang pangalan in terms of the pageant industry if hindi siya nag-iingat sa sinasabi niya. However, I do understand where she's coming from, because as a mother, I do recognize that of course you want your child to have the best things in life, and I think hers came from a place of hurt when Michelle did not advance to the top five. However, I do think that it could have been handled better, especially for someone of her stature. Nagmukha kasing bitter and very how do you say this? Very backwards yung thinking niya throughout the entire uh, interview. Kasi there were portions of that interview when she was asked about ano yung thoughts niya with transgenders, with mothers joining the pageant. And I understand that she comes from a very conservative time where pageants are, limited only for cisgendered women, those women that are born female. And of course, change happens. And if the competition or if the pageant organization already made these changes in 2012, um, then shouldn't we be more open to that at this point in time? Because it has been like 10 years that the rule has been in place. So I think there were a lot of missed opportunities for Melanie in that interview, to sound more, you know, to sound more, I don't know, more mature and accepting. Pero I do think that it came from a place of hurt. So, yun lang. She could have worded it much better and be more diplomatic, especially for someone of her, of her stature. Kasi hindi nakakaganda ng imahe yung wordings na nagamit during that interview. Okay? Nasa na ba tayo? Sabi ni Going Popcorn, ano? Um, okay. Sabi ni Going Popcorn, si Auntie TNA naman, ginawang graduation rites ng mga titos at titas sa Vietnam ang Miss Earth. Kulang na lang siya ang magkorona kay Digita at mag-host ng Miss Earth. So, mixed feelings for their 2024 hosting in Haiphong. I do hope na they can improve on this, and I do hope na the organization of Carousel, especially Carousel Productions head honchos, be more involved and hands-on with the way that the pageant is delivered. Kasi I cannot blame TNA for doing such a bad job if hands-off 100% ang carousel doon sa production. Kinakailangan it has to be a partnership of both na ito yung parameters na pwede mong galawan. So I think again this year they really need to have someone to really navigate the more delicate intricacies of delivering the pageant. So that it would still look like it is Miss Earth level at hindi yung nangyari na there was so much fluff, unnecessary fluff in the finals. Okay? Nasa na ba natin? Sabi ni Jerbo, the Miss You owner is sneaky and Tupperware, pero Pinas fans dapat marunong ding makipagplastikan. MU is embedded in Pinoy fans soul. We can't lose MU. Our action have consequences. Yung ibang Pinoy fans, my God, sobrang lower than the depths of hell ang mga comments sa owner. Yun na nga. I think fans need to understand that as long as she is the owner of the pageant, wala tayong power to dictate to her what she wants to do with the organization. Unless you have 20, 30, 40 million US dollars to buy the pageant from her, then wala tayong authority over Hunan. I think that's a reality that we need to learn as early as now so that we don't jeopardize our participation in Miss Universe in Mexico this year. Because as I was reviewing the Miss Universe Miss Universe, our track record in Miss Universe. Um, for those na not in the know, every time na sa Mexico nagaganap ang Miss Universe, hindi tayo pumapasok sa semis. So, I'm just gonna leave that with you guys. Okay? Ang dami ng comments sa baba. Okay, yee, uh, nasa na ba tayo? Um, okay, continuing dun sa sinabi ni Jerbo pala, hindi makakatulong sa future candidates natin ang pagbaba sa owner. Plastikan 101, mahirap ba? Okay, which is not. I mean, sige, let's put it in a diplomatic way. Kung hindi mo kayang makipagplastikan with the owner, at least be diplomatic or respectful. Kasi wala namang mawawala sa atin kapag nagpaka uh, nagpakumbaba tayo in terms of the way that we engage with the Miss Universe organization. Sana lang we learn from our lessons in 2020 2021 dahil nakita nyo naman yung resulta nung Miss Universe 2022 kasi sino ba ang hindi nakapasok sa semis ng Miss Universe 2022? The Philippines, Indonesia, Thailand. These are the countries na grabe kong mag-away on social media. So maybe we kind of need to to step back a little bit, chill lang para hindi tayo masyado hindi tayo masyado inflamed with what's going on in pageantry. Okay, nasa na ba tayo? Okay, going popcorn, sabi niya. Choosy din ng mga bashers ng Miss U. They bash Halo for the big changes in Miss Universe for the convenience na trans siya. Kasi siya when in fact yung ibang ruling gawa pa ni na Trump and Sugar. Agree. Josh Moore. Josh Moore is here. Sabi niya more on Sugar. Travel Junkie says, are you happy with the winners of Miss Universe, Miss Earth, and Miss International? Year of the Snake here, sir. Okay, Travel Junkie, when it comes to the winners of the major international pageants, MUME and MI, I'm really very happy. In Miss International, I was hoping na sana ibinigay na lang kay Colombia because Colombia has been doing exceptionally well throughout the entire competition. But I understand that Andrea Rubio really nailed the finals competition. So, it was hers talaga. Looking back, while I was reviewing, the pageant competition. However, I thought that the 1-2 punch should have been based on the final Q&A my 1-2 punch for the title should have been Venezuela and then first runner-up ang Pilipinas, courtesy of Nicole Borromeo. However, nung nakita ko na there is a Peruvian judge on the judging table, so okay, naiintindihan ko na bakit third runner-up lang Pilipinas dahil may Peruvian judge, so ibig sabihin second runner-up si Miss Peru. Pahala na kayo pumonekta doon. In terms naman of Miss Earth, I was hoping that at least one other European or one other Latina or African would have made top 4. Honestly, I don't feel like Vietnam deserved a top 4 placement despite the fact that she did well in the Q&A. And the reason for that is because I thought that some of the girls who didn't speak in English did deliver great answers but was not delivered well by the translators. So I think if it was up to me, I really thought na it would be Albania, Albania, and then the Philippines, and then Thailand, and either Russia to make the top 4. If it was up to me talaga, I would have placed South Africa there, or if in the high hopes that Noah of the Netherlands did not bungle or did not appear very nervous in her Q&A, it would have been her. Okay? In terms naman of Miss Universe, a lot of you guys were saying na um, sana nakapasok sa top 5 si Michelle. I echo the sentiments. Um, I do hope na sana si Puerto Rico hindi siya kinabahan uh, in her Q&A because I thought that she would have been a perfect shoe-in into the top 3. Um, Honestly, I did not see Colombia moving further into the top 5, but it is what it is. I would have, if there was one girl among the top 10 that I wish who made top 3 in Miss Universe this year, that would have been Spain. I think Spain has a very interesting na background. She could have nailed the Q&A as well because she is one of the more very conversant girls in among the Spanish speaking girls in this year's batch. So I do hope na sana, siya na yung nanalong second runner up. But then again, I'm happy with the outcome of Miss Universe. Not satisfied, maybe happy is the right word. Dahil I would have made some changes doon sa 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 na girls na nakapasok sa top 5. Okay, the critic is here. Happy 2024, Jason. May it be a beautiful year for you. May you have a joyful love life. Cheers. Well, let's see. Sabi nila, swerte sa love life ang Year of the Rooster this year. Okay. Jira Bago says, kinulang ang Miss Earth sa sustainability sa gowns, OOTDs ng mga girls and crowns, etc. They should have tapped Diamond Lab-grown companies for sponsors. Sabi naman ni Going Popcorn, NE 2010, Ronan Keating versus NE 2023, Chantel. Crossing fingers for 2024 na K-pop na sana. Hindi ko rin bet yung green gowns uniformity for Miss Earth Finals. Hindi lahat nag-glow up sa green na color. I kind of agree. And green is a very difficult color to pull off sa isang competition dahil depende sa lighting. There are some greens that are not flattering on different skin types and skin color. Okay, Kevin Herbabuena says, ano sa tingin mo ang rason kung bakit apaka-distant ni Miss Lorraine and the rest of the carousel team during the entire staging of the Miss Earth 2023? I think it has something to do with the contract and the finances. Kung laki-laki ng binayad ng TNA to host the Miss Earth na pageant this year, and they requested na hands-off ang carousel, so that could probably be a reason. But for me, that's not enough of a reason na hindi maging hands-on ang organization dahil they really need to make sure na maganda yung delivery ng finals. Okay? Jon Snow says, may issue ba talaga Miss USA until ngayon? Parang worried daw sila dun kasi late na at wala pang mga contestants sa mga state contests for 2024 edition. Baka magaya na ang US sa Euro countries na wala na gana sumali. Okay, here's what's going on with the Miss USA na competition. Traditionally, the Miss USA state pageants daw is around September, September of the year prior. Parang August to October, parang gano'n yata yung sinasabi nila. There's just around the tail end of summer and fall na schedule for those na who are living abroad. And in that time, na parang make na announcement ang Miss USA organization under Layla Rose to postpone all pageants to around January to March of this year. And for me, ang interpretation ko niyan is that it is possible that they are waiting for go signals from the, let's say, the Miss Universe organization on the new directorships. Kasi if you remember, it was announced that in around December of 2023, they will be announcing the new franchise directors of the Miss Universe organization. And I think siguro naman after nung bidding war na nangyari ng around September uh, to November of this year, they were able to review all of the applicants. So maybe that's one of the reasons why nag-postpone ang Miss USA kasi gusto nilang malaman kung sa kanila pa rin ang franchise ng Miss Universe sa United States before they make the announcement of the the pageant dates around January to March. There's also, if you watch Danny Walker's channel on YouTube, here on YouTube, she posted a video, an interesting video na there are some directors who resigned from the Miss USA organization, state directors not national director, state directors who resigned from the Miss Miss USA organization because they found some of the uh, contracts one-sided. Sabi ni Danny, she hadn't seen the contract, so that is the allegations as of this point. So maybe that is also another reason because naghahanap din sila ng panibagong mga state directors on certain states. So I don't know. Let's just wait for further updates on this because at least on that side, hindi tayo masyado apektado. Okay? Nasaan na tayo? Going popcorn, sabi niya, isa pa na i-blame to TNA and Carousel is yung 3 days before finals lang nila pina-involve si Mina sa Vietnam. Sayang yung missed opportunity na maximize yung last month ng reign niya. I kinda agree. Sana, saka yung supposed to be, di ba, dapat pupunta yung buong court mula kay Sheridan down to kay kay Andrea and si Miss Palestine. I forgot her name. I think they were all ready to travel to Vietnam. Pero hindi dumating yung mga tickets, walang invitation na dumating. I think that's another missed opportunity for them kasi sayang these girls really did so much for the Miss Earth organization to be visible online. I think sila yung pinaka-active that I've seen in terms of visibility online among the Miss Earth na mga winners in the past several years. Okay, nasa na ba tayo? Okay, sabi ni Jon Snow, agree with you regarding Melanie issue. Hindi ko gusto sa 2023 pageants, may mga bida-bida na mukhang sila yung winner instead of the announced winner sa finals night. Dami pang unnecessary side issue. The beauty critic says, who are the 3 best Filipinas you are looking forward to in Binibining Pilipinas and MVPH? Pwede ba si MMD sa Binibini 2024 para bongga and Miss International 2025? I don't think so kasi mag-age out na siya, I believe, in 2025. So, unless mag-change ng age requirements ang Miss ang Miss International, I don't think she is going to be allowed to join MI. Kasi if Michelle is, let's see, ano na bang age ni Michelle? Let me check lang ha. I think right now Michelle is 28 years old. So, ang magiging 30 years old na siya by the time that she competes if in case na sumali siya ng Binibining Pilipinas this year. And I don't think na makaka-join siya ng Binibining Pilipinas because she still has to serve her year as Miss Universe Philippines. The next earliest possible year that she can join another national pageant would be next year. So, malabo talaga. And I don't think gugustuhin ni ni Michelle na sumali ulit ng isa pang national pageant. Okay, nasaan na ba tayo? three Filipinas that I'm looking for in Binibining Pilipinas and MUPH. I think with MUPH, alam naman na natin. We all know that it's going to be Atisa who's going to win. Let's not kid ourselves. The crown is practically reserved for her. So everybody else in the competition or aiming to join the competition, they're just going to be, additional people on stage, just to make this stage look full. So, you know, uh, do it with that information as well. Pageant Foodie says, kinulang sa gloss factor ng ang ME sa Pinas, pero mas maayos at lively ang flow ng program compared to Vietnam. I think nag-flip yun sa tawag ito, sa Vietnam. Pero among the beauty pageants, iba ang caliber ng winners pagdating sa Q&A. Now, let's go to Jon Snow. Sabi niya, sa tingin mo, ano yung pinakakawindang-windang na pageant-related controversy na naganap last year? From the alisan, lipatan ng franchise, bidding war, sexual harassment, madulas na stage. Ano yung sayo? Jon Snow, I think it's the uh, nagsanga-sanga eh. It's all of the issues of the Miss Universe organization. Okay, sandali lang mukhang nawala tayo saglit. Okay, so what do I mean about with that? Because we were doing roller coaster of ups and downs in the entire year with Miss Universe. I think that was something that exhausted us, that really squeezed out all the goodwill that we have for the Miss Universe pageant. And I think ang daming nangyari with the Miss Universe organization that it really kept, like pounding us to the sand, to the ground, that at certain points in time, there were times where I really don't care what happens anymore when it comes to the Miss Universe organization. There are those times that because we all are inundated with all of these controversies, whether it's the Miss Universe coin, whether it's the bankruptcy issue, whether it's the multiple lawsuits that has been flying around. It really got to us fans to the point that we kind of felt exhausted. I think that is the biggest thing, biggest controversy, because it's not just one, it's a series of a year-long controversy upon controversy with the Miss Universe pageant. Okay, Going Popcorn says, love and support to NE girls. I think deserve nila to be in the semis. Paraguay, Greece, Poland, Zambia, Dominican Republic, Mexico, Ukraine, and Colombia. We will always have a next year. Love Dev says, may BF po kayo ngayon, sir, or ready to mingle? Right now, I am putting a hold on certain stuff in my life because I am aiming for something. And malalaman nyo din yan later on towards the middle of the year. Okay? Ayun, Nadine Ayub, si Miss Palestine. Thank you, Travel Junkie. I think it would have been great if Nadine, Sheridan, Andrea, and Nina were all there to pass on the crowns for the 2023 na edition of Miss Earth. Okay, John Cruz, judges na lang ang problema sa Miss Universe. Dapat continental din judges. 3 per continent. I would rather have that rather than a continental grouping in the candidates. So, I agree with you, Love Dev. John Cruz says, parang dumami ang male pageants last year. Yes, sobrang dami na nila. Sa dami ng pageant franchise na ngayon, sana magstay ang Binibining Pilipinas at i-maintain ang pageant brand na pang Pilipinas. I agree. I think Binibining Pilipinas probably was slow to change, but when they did change, bongga. So I am hoping that for 2024, they serve us with something that is new and fresh, refreshing, something that would really, as pageant fans, we can latch onto. Okay? And also, I kind of agree na ang dami-dami ng male pageants na parang yung iba wala namang katuturan dahil Ang candidates naman nila, um, hindi ganun karamihan. You don't see visibility among their candidates throughout the year. You don't see what they're doing. Uh, so, I kind of feel like, oo, we need male pageants na kahit kokonti yung male pageants, basta quality and may relevance yung mga ginagawa ng mga winners nila throughout the year. Okay, the beauty critique, sabi niya, bravo Jason, very good analysis on pageant. I wish you the world and the universe of love and romance in 2024. Yeah, thank you very much for that, the beauty critique. And for everyone who's wishing me the best in the years to come, I also wish you the best as well. The better things sana yung mangyari in 2024 because I think not only in pageants but life in general felt very hard in 2023, that I do hope that for everyone in 2024 would feel, less burden on us, especially for those who are working, especially for those who are, heads of the families, because I think 2023, with the massive inflation that we experienced last year, we're hoping that it would be alleviated this year because tumataas man ang sweldo, kung tumataas din ang bilihin, it negates that increase. And I do hope that for those careers na nag-stagnate yung mga salaries nila, I do hope that this year would be a better year for everyone in terms of finances. So there. Okay, let's wrap this up kasi umabot na tayo ng 2 oras. I didn't notice that. Tama I think it was Travel Junkie, or was it Going Popcorn na nagsabi na tawag ito, na aabot tayo ng 2 oras ngayon. So, okay, let's read the final comments before we end our live stream this evening. Sabi ni Pageant Foodie, sana may representation ang Palestine sa Miss World or Miss Universe. Pwede si Nadine Ayub, beauty, brains, and business. She has 1 million followers at sobrang active sa social media. Very eloquent speaker too. Sabi naman ni Going Popcorn, very straight, no horse ballad yung forecast mo sir for MUPH winner ha. Pero I agree, tsaan na to. John Cruz says, dapat kayong mga vloggers gumawa ng pageant awards, parang Oscars of pageantry. Matrabaho yan, and you need funds for that. But I do hope na maybe in the future, may organization who will be able to establish that. Okay? Okay, Nasaan na ba tayo? Going Popcorn says, baka tumatlo si Sir J kasi nga, sabi ko, naipon na lahat-lahat ang 2023. Gosh, I wish you the same thing. I wish everyone the same thing, to have a great, great year ahead. Okay? Going Popcorn, yung sa Miss World, next week natin pag-uusapan yan kasi, again, because Miss World has been moved like for the longest time, I don't think na part siya ng 2023 natin. But anyway, we will be talking about that next week. Okay, so let's wrap it up. 2023 for me, if I'm going to, to wrap it all up in just one word, I think I would agree with 44% of you that 2023 in pageantry was an exhausting year. I feel that. And remember earlier I mentioned about the Miss Universe controversies that happened, from January down to December. It's the series of these controversies na I felt that bugbog tayo. So probably for 2024, babawasan ko na yung mga yung mga chismis on that aspect, just so that we don't feel this exhausted towards the end of the year. Titimplahin ko na lang yung mga content natin for that, because I don't also want na you feel exhausted, just the same as I do at the end of the year. Because I think 2023 really was an exhausting year in pageantry and in real life as well, especially for us Filipino fans, because inflation really got to us in 2023. I felt that, before a 2,000 worth of grocery would be able to tide me for around 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Nowadays, 2,000 worth of grocery is only good enough for maybe, I don't know, 10 days. Would not even go 2 weeks. Might even, at least be, kaya niya lang sigurong tapatan yung isang linggo kung minsan. So, I do hope na um, 2024 would bring in an easier year in pageantry for everyone. Now, going to the polls, wow, 44 of you said that 2023 was exhausting. 34 of you said that it's pretty much the same old, same old. Only 22% said that 2023 was exciting. So thank you very much for everyone who joined in our poll this evening. Salamat sa mga nag-like doon sa ating live stream. For those na hindi pa nagla-like doon nagka-thumbs up sa ating live stream, please do leave a thumbs up for our live stream so that more audiences would be able to watch it a little bit later on when our live stream becomes public to all. Okay, last few comments. EJ Bell says, I just woke up. Good morning from here. Happy New Year, Jason. Good morning and Happy New Year din, EJ Belge. Love Dev says, Miss Star Grape, Melanie Marquez trying to crumble MU integrity. Laging pinopoint out na ginagawang basis na pasok daw yung anak niya sa top 5 pero pinalitan daw bigla ni Kun Ang ng Thailand, WTH. I think that's the Miss Universe El Salvador posting that you were talking about. Again, that's not a I don't think that would count as a evidence of fraud or fixing. It has to be something meatier for it to stand in court. Okay, sabi ni Going Popcorn, next live stream baka 4 hours na, hahaha. Till next live stream, happy 2024 to all of us. So, guys, maraming salamat. Thank you very much for sticking with us. I didn't expect this to have extended with your comments up until 2 hours, because when I was timing our live stream, I was able to finish all of my points at around the 1 hour and 15-minute na mark. It's actually the comments that really made this entire live stream longer. But thank you very much for being so interactive, for being here after a long absence in live streaming. I know I cannot take back the time na nagkasakit ako while I was in the province. Guys, iba yung ginaw sa probinsya ngayon. I think yung katawan ko na sanay sa init ng Metro Manila, na lusaw yung resistensya ko with the coldness that I've experienced in the province, especially in the norte. I think right now we should be taking care of ourselves. I hope health for everyone this 2024, because health is precious. It will be something that we will treasure for a long time. I do hope na for everyone 2024 would be an easier year for us. Tama na, Lord, na ibigay mo yung mga toughest battles mo sa amin, because at this point in time we really want to enjoy life. I think that's one of the things that we really want to happen for 2024. That it is enjoyable, that it is easy, that it's not going to be full of trials and tribulations. I do hope that for everyone, 2024 will be an easier year and a more productive year, because I think we're back. I think the Philippines is back after being so absent for quite some time in the top 4, top 5 of major international pageants. So I think babawi tayo this 2024. I think that 2024 is going to be kinder to us. And I hope that for 2024, we will be kinder to ourselves and to each other as well. Enough na yung mga uh, issues against each other, against other pageant fandoms. Dahil I think 2024 will have a lot of challenges for us. And I do hope that when we talk about those challenges in our next live stream next week, you will be there just as engaged as you are in tonight's live stream. So thank you very much. Hindi ko kayang sabihin lahat ng gusto kong sabihin that I wish for everyone, but I do hope na magkita-kita ulit tayo in our next live stream. So, bye everyone, good night, and have a great weekend! See you soon!